So I'm going to talk a little bit about lactose here. Lactose is a disaccharide, a double sugar here. When it's broken by a lactase, the enzyme lactase, which is present in the intestines on the epithelial cell surface, it's broken into galactose and glucose. And here's a picture from a medical textbook. On the left, you see the normal, quote, normal lactose digestion. I'm going to talk about that, where, point to work here. So lactose is broken down by lactase enzyme into glucose and galactose, and then that's absorbed across the intestinal wall. In the case of people like me, lactose intolerant, the lactose does not find any lactase, and the bacteria, however, are very excited that you're feeding them, and they break down the lactose by fermentation, and you get all the resulting symptoms. This enzyme, lactase, is encoded by a gene on chromosome 2, and there's a region very near to it called the MCM6. If you're interested in all this, there's a nice NIH website about this. And so in people like me, lactose intolerance, it's also called lactase deficiency or hypolactasia. Basically, you can't digest or metabolize lactose. And it's important to realize that this is not the same as milk allergy. A lot of people talk about having a milk allergy. That's a completely different thing. It's an immune response. This is just not having lactase and feeding your gut bacteria, which is something you want to do in some cases, but not to this extent if you have lactose intolerance. So the symptoms, as I sort of alluded to, are abdominal bloating and cramps, flatulence, diarrhea, nausea, rumbling stomach, which I have right now because I'm hungry, but different issue, and vomiting. Not fun. They're not fatal, not unless you do a lot of this, but generally not fun. There are different types of lactase deficiency. Primary lactase deficiency, this is from a medical dictionary, is genetically determined absence or decrease in enzyme. Intestinal morphology is normal. There's a secondary kind where you basically have some kind of intestinal disease that prevents you from digesting lactose. And then you have congenital lactase deficiency, where it's very rare, where babies are actually born without being able to produce lactase. You can imagine, Karen's kind of alluding to here, that birth is hard, but then for most of our evolutionary history, babies were fed breast milk. And so if they were born without the lactase enzyme, they could not digest lactose, and without lactose-free formula, which we have now, they would have died.